Hey, thanks for joining me today for part 2 of I Lost My Job. What am I going to do? My name is Josh Matthews, the Salesforce recruiter and president of Endeavor Staffing. And to give you a little bit of a sneak peek, we are covering steps 4, 5, and 6 of the 6 things that I recommend you do before you put yourself out there in the job market. Okay, a little sneak peek, LinkedIn, resumes, and gathering the information for both of those assets. That's what we're talking about, so make sure you stick around. Number 4 is understand your successes and shortcomings at your most recent employer. Now, you'll need to do this for your job hunting assets such as your resume and your LinkedIn profile, and to be an astute, self-aware communicator during interviews. Additionally, an understanding of your shortcomings, both as an employee, such as timeliness, communication, did you deliver on time, were you fun, did you get along with everybody, that sort of thing. And if applicable, as a technologist, both of these things are really critical. Self-awareness is absolutely key to making both the small and the large adjustments for self-improvement and future success. I got to tell you, I don't know how many people that I've talked to, senior Salesforce developers, who thought that they were awesome architects, and they just weren't. You've got to understand where you really fit in, not just in your company and what you did well and what you didn't do well, but where you fit in the grand scheme of other candidates out there in the market. All right, so how do we get this information? Well, there are a few different ways, and I'm going to start with the worst way, and that's to guess, right? And you can go ahead and guess how you did and guess your performance, and guess what? You'd be really average. Now, you're probably not here because you think you're average. You're probably here because you're willing to invest in yourself and get every single advantage that you possibly can to give yourself the best chance out there in the job market. So I don't recommend guessing, but if you have to, you have to. All right, number 2 on that list would be to consider recent 360 reviews, compliments from managers, assessments, recent meetings with the people, with stakeholders and with the executives and leadership team at your company. And number 3, this is really the best way, is to actually call your boss and ask them. During major rifts, managers, they tend not to give critical feedback that can help your career, and they're just trying to be nice, and we can't blame them for that. But don't let them. Call them. Ask your boss. Let them know that no matter what, you're the kind of person who accepts feedback and takes appropriate action based on that feedback. This is a really standout moment for you to differentiate yourself from the crowd. Okay, we're on to number 2. And listen, 2 and 3 are really updates to your job candidate assets, right? That's your LinkedIn profile and your resume. And we're going to start with your resume, but please don't go out onto LinkedIn right away announcing that you're out of a job before getting all of your ducks in a row. Stick around. This is not the time to click on kittens. Most people know that they don't know how to write a resume, or at least a stunning resume, and yet most people don't do anything about it. So if you're most people, enjoy the cats. Otherwise, we're going to keep diving right in. Now, I recommend starting with your resume and then transferring the timeline and key accomplishments afterward to LinkedIn, and that's why I've chosen to do resumes first. I really recommend considering getting a professional to write your resume. I did that just 17 years ago, 18 years ago. I can't quite remember. But I honestly couldn't believe how awesome I was. I was okay. But the resume, and it was all true, it just looked so much better, and it read so much better than anything that I could create at the time. And you may find that you're in a real similar situation, in that this is a small investment, $200, $300, $400, $500, depending on who you go to, that can really impact your career in an incredibly positive way. Now, if you do choose to do it yourself, please use Grammarly, but don't outsource your career to the technology of Grammarly, right? You want to write it, you want to sleep on it, wake up, reread it, and then get your smartest friend to review it as well. Okay, we're going to do Resume Writing 101, and it's going to take about 2 minutes. I'm going to just go over a resume that has some components that I really happen to like and recommend everybody have in their resume. And I'm going to go over a resume that absolutely sucks, even though the person's a great guy. So let's look at both of them right now. Okay, starting with this one. So he has his first and last name. You can't see it, but I know who he is, and it's right up here at the top. And it's followed by the city and the state that he lives in,
no need to put your street address, guys. There's no reason to put your apartment number or anything. Nobody needs to fly in on Google Earth and see how big your house is or any of that stuff. So city and state's just fine. Not having city and state, not a good idea. Even if you're open to remote work, still have your city and state, because different rules and different laws apply to different states about what we can ask you, what are you making right now, that kind of stuff. It's got contact information, so phone number and email address and a LinkedIn profile. Okay, so we're going to go to your LinkedIn profile. So you might as well make it easy for us. If your name is John Doe, then we're, a creek, right? Not cool. So we've got to look all over and try and guess who you are. So just put the link in there. This guy wrote it out, the URL. Not a bad idea. A lot of job boards and talent management systems utilize parsing, and it will know that that's a LinkedIn address, and it'll pull it and it'll stick it in his file. Mine does that. Super helpful. All right, next thing is, look at this. This is beautiful. Thing of beauty. This is what we call a title. Maybe 5-10% of people actually have a title. They just figure that someone's going to scroll down and read all of their job titles from the past. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I mean, usually we do, but gosh, wouldn't you want to guarantee that someone knows what you're all about, right? So if you're a Salesforce administrator, say Salesforce administrator. If you're a bartender, say bartender, whatever you want to use. But put a title up at the top. You can also put 2 or 3 different things. So if you're a Service Cloud and Sales Cloud expert, or if you're a, it could say Salesforce administrator or Salesforce developer, Marketing Cloud, Service Cloud, communities, right? You could do that too. You could really notify everybody who's looking at this in the blink of an eye what you're all about. Underneath this is given a really nice summary. It's not too long, like my box. It's not too long, and it talks about really what he's known for: proven ability to meet deadlines, prioritize multiple projects, communicate effectively at all levels. Look, guys, it might sound a little bit like a trope, and that's something that everybody says, but it's not true, right? People have different skill sets and different things that they're known for. So whatever you're known for, put that in your resume. Don't just copy this guy. Okay, next, let's look at the actual bullet points. Now, I like that he's done a decent job of telling us what he did in this job or is doing in this job, but he didn't really tell us about the company. I do think it makes sense to have a sentence in there. Just, this company is this big and this is what they do. Unless it's Apple, Google, Salesforce, Microsoft, big company that everybody knows, you definitely want to put a little sentence in there about the company that you're working with or worked for at that time. Now, something I really love about this resume, and I mean love, it makes my life so much easier, is this individual has results, right? And numbers. Look at this, 95% reduction, right? 75% reduction, pretty awesome, 100% automated. So when we put numbers on a resume, we're telling people that we're in the details and we know what the results are from the work that we've done. Now, he does have something in here on his very first bullet point, and I'm sure it's true, right? Manage all user licenses, deduplication, record types, validation rules, custom objects, and fields. Could you take that and put that on a job description? You betcha, and that's probably not a good thing. It doesn't say really anything individually about his performance in that role with managing all of the user licenses. But, it's fine to have 1 or 2 in there. But for the most part, you really want success stories. So if we look at this and it says manage all user licenses, that's different than refactored. This is present tense, and this is past tense, customized, right? Versus customized Aura Lightning components and component bundles. Now, I would love to see customized, 22 Aura Lightning components and 4 component bundles resulting in blah, blah, blah. You can really express yourself here. You don't have to keep everything to a page or to just 2 pages. So, feel free to expand on this stuff a little bit. All right. So guys, this stuff, I could really spend an hour talking about resumes and all the things that you can do with a resume to improve it. But I just want to give you some quick hits, some things that you can look at your resume real quick, help you to get prepared if you have lost your job and you're going to be on the job hunt and looking for a new role. Let's take a look now at something that's maybe not a very good resume at all. This resume could use a lot of work, and I'm going to show you why. Bullet points, bullet points, bullet points, bullet points. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's exhausting just looking at them. I mean, look, guys, I'm a people person, not a details person. But looking at this stuff, my eyes literally just roll into the back of my head. This person submitted a resume with his first name and an initial. Now, I know a lot of Pradeeps, so if Pradeep calls and says, hey, did you look at my resume? I'm not going to be able to look it up. I can't parse this correctly. I can't do anything with it. I just don't know who this person is. I've actually seen resumes in this style, and it's a very common style for Indian nationals to produce or to have their employers produce for them. Boo. It doesn't talk a lot about successes. Now, this person did do one thing well, and that's they put their certifications in here in text and actually gave their license numbers, which I think is terrific. I see a lot of these resumes where we've got a JPEG up at the top, and that JPEG will not get parsed. And if someone's parsing a bunch of resumes every day into their talent database, and they start searching for you, and it doesn't say certified or Salesforce certified administrator or a PD1 or whatever it is, they're just not going to find you. There are a lot of styles of resumes, but this isn't a style that works well in the United States. And I strongly encourage researching Western style resumes. It doesn't mean that if you're from India, you've got a bad resume. It just means that this style of resume makes it difficult to place you. All right. I'm still looking for a result. Go figure. And I've always been straightforward. I'm going to be straightforward with all you guys. So that's just the deal. You don't like it, it's okay. You don't have to like it. But this is just... Okay, we're going to talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn's your friend on the job search. The way LinkedIn is set up is they tell you what you should be doing. It looks like you haven't filled out your education. Would you like to do that right now? And you'll see little boxes and, do you want to add volunteer experience, or do you want to add any certifications or licenses? It really wants you to have robust information. And when you have robust information on LinkedIn, people find you, and they might appreciate that you're taking your career a little bit more seriously than other people who aren't. So I've got this guy up here, Robert, got his permission to use his profile. I happen to like Robert a lot, and I placed him with a terrific client of mine just this past winter. To begin with, he's got a fantastic smile, and it really helps to have a smile. You don't have to have a fantastic smile like Robert does, but if you've got a smile on your profile picture, that's strongly recommended. I wouldn't do the thing where it's you sitting on a cliff with your back, to the camera with your dog looking into the sunset. Guys, it's not Tinder, right? I mean, it's a professional thing. He's dressed appropriately for a Salesforce administrator, and he's got this really cute, fun header up here. You can change that. All you got to do is click edit on your profile. And again, there are tons of videos about how to do this, and probably the best ones are produced by LinkedIn themselves. He has filled out a lot of his information, and immediately I know exactly what he's all about. We've got his name. We've got that I don't know why we're second. We should be first connections. That's weird. I'll have to talk to him about that. Anyway, we've got right up here what he's all about. 3X Trailhead Ranger, 3X, certified professional in Salesforce, and he's got some cool stuff going on, right? He's a Salesforce user group leader. That's not a bad thing. And if you are, and you're not advertising it or making it obvious, again, we talk about obvious on the resumes. If you're not making it obvious on LinkedIn, then maybe people won't see it. Maybe they won't think it's as cool. You think it's cool? Put it up there. Okay, a couple of things. He's got a really nice little about thing. Oh, and a smiley face. More smiles from Robert. So I'm a Salesforce consultant for an amazing company and work on a lot of cool stuff. Good enough for me, man. Really. It's just kind of this relaxed thing. Have a strong background and passion for Service Cloud and all the neat stuff that comes with it. Isn't this sweet? You can get as serious on here as you want to, and you can get as lighthearted as you want to, as long as you have something in here and the wording describes your personality. That's why people are checking you out. They want to get to know you a little bit better. They could just look at your resume, or they could look at this and maybe you have a little bit more of a voice for yourself. You can also see what you've done with your activity. So if you're bashing on Trump or bashing on the Democratic Party or whatever you're bashing on, don't do that on LinkedIn. Save that for, I don't know, a phone call on a secure line. I wouldn't do that on here. But you can see people's activity. So just be aware that your activity matters. And if you have no activity, then that matters because it says that you're not on here and you're not doing a lot. Now, they're not hiring a professional to hang out on LinkedIn all day. But if you're not working, it makes a lot of sense to get on here, spend some time, read some articles, do some comments, maybe even contribute, write an article yourself, put up some postings related to your industry and related to your business that can give a little bit more nuance and color to the kind of individual that you are and the kind of professional that you are. Okay, here we've got just a few cool little bullet points from each of his jobs. Great. And he's got his education, he's got his trailhead up here, and licenses are actually listed, so it's easy to look up, and interests, and of course, a lot of Salesforce. And, you know, I guess there are 207,414 other people that are interested in Sears in addition to Robert, so that's cool. Okay, let's look at, thank you, Robert, for sharing this, by the way. I'm sure you're watching this over and over and over again. We're going to look at another fella. Justin was kind enough to say that we could share his resume, or excuse me, his LinkedIn profile too. Justin's a fantastic guy. He's a consultant, and we can see that he's, very accomplished with his Salesforce certifications. It's very obvious from the get-go. If you had any doubts about his interest in his personal education to be a competent Salesforce professional, well, that's been put to rest, right? Immediately, boom, like that, blink of an eye. So we know a little bit what he's all about. We know he's a consultant, and we know that he's got 10 certifications. And unlike Robert, he's my first connection. Thanks, Justin. Okay, on the about, again, we've got a little bit of information. He's available for corp-to-corp contracting, and he's got fields FSL and Sales Cloud and some custom config development. He's just telling us some cool stuff, right? And if we scroll down to the bottom, he also has his licenses and certifications. Volunteer experience. Guys, if you volunteer, just stick it on LinkedIn. People like that. I've got one client. If you don't volunteer somewhere, they're probably not even going to look at you. Now, you might go, I'm working 70 hours a week. Well, boo-hoo to you. You don't get to work for them. Okay, and interests. So, guys, joining LinkedIn user groups, how to use LinkedIn, all that stuff, you can learn it. I just wanted to give you some of the basic fundamentals that you really should have. And let me show you an example of what not to do. Don't do this. This is a terrible LinkedIn profile if you're on the job hunt or if you've recently been laid off and you're in the job search. This is a terrible way to go. You're going to want to get this stuff dialed in. Honestly, about an hour of time or even half an hour of time can bolster your LinkedIn profile immeasurably. Hope that's been helpful. I guess I'm going to wrap it up out by the shed.
Okay, guys, that's it. The 6 things to do before you even start your job hunt. And if you've made it this far, I can only assume that you've lost your job or you like the sound of my voice, and I'm guessing it's probably the first one. So, again, I'm really sorry that you're even needing to investigate some of this stuff, but I hope it's been helpful for you and giving you that extra advantage to continue and grow your career. Now, for more information, like the best question to ask a future employer, visit my blog at thesalesforcerecruiter.com/blog-posts and subscribe for more content. Was this helpful? Let me know in the comments below and be sure to like. And if you missed part 1, it's right here.